Hello, and welcome to the Branches Worldwide podcast, where we talk to high-impact Christian entrepreneurs from all over the world. Today, we're sitting here with Florin Ursache in Iași, Romania, and we're actually sitting here in person in Harmony Cafe. It is one of the top-rated cafes here in Romania as a country, and we're just so excited about the work that him and his team and his church are doing to serve this community. So today we're going to learn a little bit about what makes a business and a church work in this area, and we're just so excited to have you here, Florin. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to have you here.
It is a pleasure to be here. So, Florin, I'm really excited to dive into some of the details of what you have been through in order to be sitting down at this bench with me and talking about it in the past. And, I'd like to go all the way back to the beginning. I'd like to understand what it's like to grow up in Romania, what it's like to go through the walk that you have, and ultimately to be in this space. We know that entrepreneurs as a whole tend to be cut from a little bit of a different cloth, and it usually comes from the different experiences that they have had as a child. So take me all the way back. Give me an example of what your life was like as a child growing up here.
Yeah, I was born in a Christian family. We were 7 kids, 1 girl and 6 boys. So we have heard about Jesus Christ a lot, but I personally didn't believe he really exists. My parents, they've done a good job, but I rejected, in a sense, God until I was 17 years old. So I was depressed, thinking to commit suicide. And one day I just prayed in my desperation, God, if you really exist, just come and change my heart, because I hate myself. I don't want to live this life anymore. So after that prayer, something changed. I started just to cry my sin, to feel after this the joy of salvation, the joy that I know a Father that really loves me, doesn't matter my past. So in the past, I was stealing from people. I was making harm to others. I've never thought I will sacrifice my life to help others. So when I became a believer, it was something new to feel the love of God flowing through me to other people, and to see the joy to live a sacrificial life like Jesus sacrificed himself for me.
No.
Yeah. When I was a kid, regarding entrepreneurship, I had this courage to go in a market to sell stuff, to sell vegetables for other people. I have this desire to build something, but I didn't know in the future I will be an entrepreneur, and I will build with my team Harmony Cafe.
That's awesome. Tell me, what type of vegetables did you sell? I'm just picturing little Florin, in a vegetable stand, selling vegetables to the community.
Yeah, it was all kind of vegetables, and the people that were selling the vegetables were like, I like this kid. He's so vocal and courageous, and I was really convincing people to buy stuff, and they were giving me money after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one would almost say that you were born a salesman in a way at heart.
Yeah. I love it. I didn't know, again, I never dreamed. My dream was to go in Italy to work, to build my dreams house, but yeah, totally changed after I've known God. Yeah, I have known him, yeah.
Florin, help me understand. I know we've talked about this a little bit, about what it looks like to grow up in a post-communist community and region, and maybe some of the different challenges that you faced within that growing up as a child, and then maybe even growing into today. Help us understand exactly what type of impact that puts on you in this region.
Yeah, because I grew under a little bit under communism,
Yeah.
but after communism fall, the mentality remain almost the same, a little bit change over the time.
Yeah.
But I've seen the people, they fear in a sense to express themselves because of the security, the policy of communists, and I've seen the church, the evangelical church in our country, with the same mentality, unfortunately, because they usually, not all of them, not all the people from those churches, but many of them have the same mentality to stay focused inward and don't go outside the walls of the church to bring the gospel and to show through deeds the love of God for humanity. Yeah, so we can see right now a change in culture and in mentality. So the people are starting to be more involved in the other people's life and show the love of Jesus.
Wow. Yeah, that definitely is a different perspective than other areas of the world that can come into this space as well. So thank you for sharing, helping describe what it's like in that environment. So Florin, with coming from that perspective of an economy and just background, explain to me how Harmony Cafe comes into play with that.
Yeah, desiring to arrive to connect with a lot of people that need to know God. We went down the parks, the cafeteria, everywhere to connect with them. So we thought that the best place to speak about Jesus, to speak about the gospel, is around the table. And what place is more perfect than a cafe?
Yeah.
So our vision is this, to rebuild the table where Jesus ate with the sinners. And we have this opportunity right now to meet a lot of people, to share the gospel, to love them, to give them a meal, but especially to tell them about Jesus that saved me and made my life free from sin.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. And, from my perspective, I completely agree. There's no better way that you can connect with somebody rather than sitting down across the table and sharing a meal with them. I know from my experience and connecting with some of the leaders within branches and traveling and connecting, even though we're spread out, once we're able to come together and sit down, just like you and I have been able to do, Florin, you and I, we've known each other for over a year now. And then being able to come down and sit down across the table from you, your wife, and the rest of your amazing family, and just being able to build that relationship, there's no better platform. And for you to be able to take that into your community and offer in that space is really cool. And I'll also say the food is worth coming back for over and over and over again to share that table. So really, really amazing platform that you've created here. And I'm curious, I know I've been able to meet a lot of your team that helps make this a reality. Tell me how you found them. How did you connect with them, and what type of role did they play with you as you saw the vision and then acted upon it?
We started our church plant almost 10 years ago, and I came here in the beginning, only me with my wife, my kids, walking on the streets without knowing many persons here in this new city, and praying, God, you called us here. What should we do now? I don't know too many persons. I need a team. And with a couple of friends from my hometown, one of them came from Italy, the others from university. They came here and we formed like our core team. And we started to speak with people about God, to visit homeless people, to do ministry. And In these almost 10 years, a lot of people came, students to study here at university. They came, they heard about God, they become believer, born again believers. So they join us in this desire to make known Jesus Christ.
I love that. I love that. And, you know, from the outside perspective, you know, something that I've really enjoyed understanding is how Harmony Cafe serves as so many different tools within the community. You know, not only is it a cafe where people from the community get to walk into a door and a beautiful environment and have an amazing meal and then be served by your staff who you're discipling and bringing alongside on the journey to learn more about Christ, but it also turns into church on Sundays, right? All of this gets moved, all of it gets rearranged, and you take the stage right behind us over here. Tell me a little bit about how the two visions of the community piece and the business piece comes together from your perspective with the faith piece and the church piece, and how people come together to praise God in this space as well.
Yeah, we believe that God loves the most the church. So our vision is to plant many churches, and Harmony Cafe is like a vehicle to bring the gospel to the nations. We love that we have this place. Many people come here more comfortable, more relaxed, because it's not like a church, a traditional church, but they meet here the same real God. So it is like a neutral place, like a normal place to come, but our appointments are divine, are powerful. A lot of people came here and they heard about God and they thought that's unreal. They thought we are smiling, fake smile, you know. So when they start to know us, they were like, "You are a real man. You really enjoy God," and we were so blessed to have those testimonies. So again, for us, it's the church who is using a Harmony Cafe to bring the gospel for the homeless people. We started cooking meals for them in our homes, yeah. But having a cafe, it's easier for us to connect with them, to bring them here, to pray for them, to give them a meal. We have in our menu a portion of love, and every client that is coming, they can donate for the homeless people, like 15 lates. It's not much, but we can cook 2 meals for them, and wow. Without taking profit for us, just serving them.
Right.
Yeah, and we have other ministry like prison ministry. The people are coming here. They meet their families. Some of the fathers that are in prison, they met their child for the first time.
Wow.
They never saw them. So they are like crying. They are amazed. They didn't believe us that we will bring their families here. And the guardians are clothed in a civil cloth. So it's like a date in the city. It's not like they are prisoners, you know.
Yeah.
And other ministry like children ministry with poor children, they come here, eat here, and our team is going every week in that village, bringing them food and loving them. Some of them, they don't have a meal, only 1 meal a day. So they enjoy very much hearing about God, but seeing God feeding them through us.
Wow. Yeah. And we just had one of those exact events today, right?
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see, like I said, the vehicle and what Harmony Cafe acts upon as a service to the community. And you guys have been so intentional about creating those systems to make sure that the church is at the center of that. And I'm curious, from an outside perspective, or our perspective, we understand that from the church level, I'm curious how you feel the entire community understands the combination of how the church meets Harmony Cafe. How does the community within that space engage and feel about redemptive business and using business truly as a vehicle to impact the community?
We have started with only Christian employees, but in time we decided to hire all kinds of people. Doesn't matter their beliefs.
Yeah.
We met with them every Tuesday morning and speak about principles of business and advices for life. But every time we take them through the gospel, because this is the only force that can change their hearts. And it is so good to see that our employees are coming to know the Lord and to serve the homeless people, the prisoners, the children, the students that are coming here. It's like a dream coming true. Looking at me or at us, we couldn't believe that can be reality.
Right.
But it's a real dream came true, yeah.
I love that.
I don't know if I answer your question exactly. Maybe I can go back a little bit and speak about how the church is using the Harmony Cafe. This was the question, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we go ahead, pause for a second?
Yeah. Okay. The church is seeing Harmony Cafe like a platform where they can meet people and they can create connections with the people that they never met. They serve, they cook for the homeless people, they cut their hairs, they clothe them. Every Monday we are going on the streets, on a shelter of our city with food, but not only food, we are listening them, preaching them the gospel, praying for them. And this is is not draining us. It's like God is pouring more on us because we are blessing our community with the gospel and with the deeds of the gospel.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And something else that we've been talking about, Florin, is the adventure camps that you have been putting on here in the community. Romania as a whole has some nice mountains, outdoorsy areas, and from our conversation, it sounds like you're a little bit of an outdoorsman yourself. Is that right?
Yeah, sure.
And tell me a little bit about the adventure camps. We've talked a little bit about how you've used those as an opportunity to bring youth into a space and take them out, remove them from what their normal day-to-day is, to experience God in nature. And just give me like an outline as far as to some of that mission there, another one of the veins that you've used and vehicles that you've used in order to impact this community.
We have started to have survival camps 15 years ago because we observed that the normal camps, they are not so fruitful. The people, especially in Romania after communism, they know how to keep the mask very much time. And we've seen that in those survival camps, the people being tired, they open up and we can work on their hearts. So I like adventure, I like nature. God likes nature, it's His creation.
I love nature too, I'm with you.
We need to, Yeah, but the people, when they are coming there, we create under pressure strong relationships.
Yeah.
So they will be more open, knowing us and me knowing them.
Yeah.
In this relationship, they just ask for help. And that we've seen like a lot of people changed, a lot of them.
Wow.
So this is the main reason. I like adventure, but seeing people changed encourage us to go farther, to invest in them. Almost every year, after 1, 2, 3 survival camps, it's like, okay, we are so tired, we will stop doing them. But seeing the fruits, it's like you need to go farther because a lot of people from young generation, they are with technology, they are single, they are isolated, and they don't have real relationships.
Right.
And around the fire, like around the table, is the perfect place to speak with them, real stuff,
Yes, I love that. You're replacing the table with the fire. Yes, and
Yeah.
there's something special about sharing around the campfire. Give me a little bit of an example of what someone experiences at the camp.
Regarding the competition is like we have a map, we have a compass, we need under pressure time to do some tasks. One of the tasks is to catch fishes bare hand.
Barehanded.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my goodness, you have to explain that a little bit more. You can't just brush over that one.
Yeah, this is how to say. This is a sickness from my family. This is our passion. It's something that is passed over from a generation to the other in our family. So
Okay.
the young people that are coming, we should bare hand fish, catch fishes. Sorry, yeah, and they learn, and they win some points. Depends on the quantity, the measure of the fish, and it's very fun. And they need to eat that fish. They don't have any food,
So they need to catch it.
Yeah, for sure. If not, they're gonna die.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's called adventure survival for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Tell me, what is the biggest fish you've seen somebody pull out? And it's probably you that caught it. What is the biggest fish that you've seen caught barehanded?
Yeah, like my hand, I don't know,
Oh my
almost
goodness.
1 meter. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, very good.
Well, I tell you what, next time I'm in Romania, I'm going to have to come out here and experience this for myself, okay?
Yeah, super. I'm waiting for.
I love it. Well, let me transition back to Harmony Cafe. You've done a lot to this point to get to where you're at now. You've accomplished just unsurmountable challenges, whether it's from the government policing what you are and are not allowed to do. You made it through COVID, and you just keep accomplishing year after year. Where do you see Harmony going in the future?
I think we are at this time in which we can reproduce Harmony Cafe in other parts of the country and above.
Wow.
And we are praying in this period to see where God is at work and to understand the next step. But our desire to see many church plants and many Harmony Cafe like a vehicle for the gospel. And we can see in the next 3 years other Harmony Cafe open.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What I love about that, Florin, is that it's the church first, right?
Yeah.
And it takes different perspectives in each region. But I feel like a lot of the conversation that I connect with entrepreneurs, it starts with the business, and then they figure out how to bring the church into the business. But for you, it's really started with the church. It's always been the church, and then it's how do I use the church and then put tools in place to bring people into the church. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. And I think it's the healthiest way, because when you don't have profit and the business is not going very well, you are satisfied in Jesus because you've done God's work. Yeah. Doesn't matter you have money or not. So when we had difficulties, we could see people changed, and I was encouraged. And the first years, the business was not going very well, but a lot of homeless people were fed. So I was happy. Doesn't matter the money,
Yeah.
When the business is growing, is good. I'm happy too. But again, this is only a vehicle. The church is God's plan. It's everything for God,
Amen. That's awesome. Speaking about that, the challenges on the front side, I know they can be really hard to navigate. how did you personally navigate those whenever they came?
I navigated like David. We were talking yesterday about this.
Yes, yeah.
I felt like David, like a child praying every time and seeing God's intervention and God's provision.
Yeah.
Like people, they are not believers, but they came around us and they donate a lot of stuff for us without knowing what we are doing, but God moved their hearts. So seeing God and seeing ourselves like little kids, it's being humble. It's a requirement to be blessed. So we've seen God at work. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Florin, as we start wrapping up here, I'd love to just hear a little bit more about your experience within Branches. What has it been like for you to be connected to other Christian entrepreneurs from around the world, and what has that done to your leadership and your ability to connect with those here in Romania?
Yeah, I think the culture in the West is more like individualistic. So in the East and in the Hebrew way of thinking was different. In the rabbinic school was different. In their school, a rabbinic school, were people all kind of ages and experiences, and the youngest could learn from the oldest. But in our Western culture, you are like kind of alone, and you navigate like with a lot of insecurities. But having Branches worldwide family around me and their mentorship for me, it's like being encouraged in difficult times and gaining their wisdom, because I've done a lot of mistakes by myself, and it is easier to learn from others' mistakes.
And something I would love to hear is now you have people that you are bringing up and mentoring in this space, and I've heard multiple conversations of, man, Florin, we're so happy to have you because we get to learn from your mistakes to continue to grow in the future as well.
Yeah, God is blessing us so we can be a blessing for others.
Yes.
And I think the best for somebody is to see the fruits through himself, and to see the people that are gaining wisdom that I'm gaining from others.
Yeah.
It's like seeing your nephews.
Yeah.
And to see people change not through me but through the people that I'm discipling or mentoring.
Yeah.
It's like another dream, the bigger dream, the biggest dream to see coming alive.
I love it. So Florin, coming from your experience and being in this environment, what would you say to somebody that is thinking about either one, moving their business into a trajectory that is becoming more redemptive and more impactful for the kingdom, or maybe on the other side, someone that is just starting to think about launching a business? What type of advice would you give to them?
To sacrifice your life for a business doesn't deserve. To use the business to build the kingdom of God deserve all the efforts. So you need to decide to sacrifice for what is everlasting. Yeah.
What does that look like for you personally?
For me, it's like when the business is going down, I can stand firm and happy, not easy, but happy, because I've done it not for myself, but for God.
Yeah.
And it's like when somebody is coming, to give us a ticket without deserving it.
Yeah.
It's more like God is your cafe place.
Wow.
Yeah. You need to fight for it.
Yeah.
It's easier for me. But if you believe that your business is yours for your benefit, it's like it's on your shoulders.
Yeah.
You need to fight by yourself. it is easier for me, not easy, easier to give it back to God.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm doing this like weekly basis, God is yours, and it's more stress-free,
Yeah.
you know.
So what you're saying is that you don't only have to surrender it in the beginning, but it's a weekly occurrence where you're like, I'm just giving this up. Is that right?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
a lifestyle. And I needed to learn it because in my flesh I'm a fighter.
Yeah.
So in the beginning I was sick of this messianic complex,
Tell me about that.
I had like nights in which I couldn't sleep. So I fight it with God,
Yeah.
I heard once that a good pastor give up every week and take it back every week.
Wow.
Yeah, so every day I need to give up to God. I cannot do it, God. Just help me, give me your wisdom, send me your man, send me my mentor, like I already shared with you. I was praying for a mentor, and then came Branches Worldwide, and God bless me through you. And it's good to have a team around you.
Almost to share in the camaraderie, right?
Yeah.
And from your team, like I said, it seems like there's just such a cohesion there. What has been the secret in order to make your team work so well together?
We are so different, and usually when you have different people, so different comparing with you, you split, but having the same desire to make known Jesus Christ, and having unity in the spirit, not only in hobbies or because we love coffee. Having this unity in the spirit, it's more like it's not about us, it's about Him. And so I enjoy so much to be around with Bainey or Eddie, Christina, George, Kami, the others from the church, to the others that are working here and are believers. We share the same passion for the gospel, and this made us to stick together.
Almost the pressure of everything coming together, and then being able to go through that together is forged that relationship, right?
We had difficult times, but nobody is in the center of Harmony Cafe. When they are telling me I'm the boss, I feel guilty, I rather be an employee, I'm somebody here, but it's Christ Harmony Cafe.
And from my experience, what I've seen is that even as the leader of Harmony, you're still the servant. And probably more so the servant to this community than anybody else, because you have the most time that you've spent in it, and the most that you've continued to give into this, and not only in the past but in the future, where you continue to sacrifice for the people here of Yash.
I think sacrifice is the gospel. It's not easy again. But real Christianity means to sacrifice. The rest, it's like you are faking it. So to make the next step, it's more like going at another level of sacrificing yourself. We are not going like we are the best. We are going like God deserves to be known. So we'll do the next step because of God. Other else, I'll stay, comfortable somewhere. But it's so good to be used by God.
I love
useful to God.
That's wonderful. Well, Florin, just thank you so much for the time, not only to talk a little bit more about Harmony Cafe. I have loved getting to understand the model and what you have created here, and really get to understand how that is impacting not only your staff and the individuals that are a part of Harmony Church, but truly the way it's creating a different perspective of the community here in Yash. So just thank you for being able to sit down with us and tell us a little bit more about your experience in order to accomplish that.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to have you here, and to know personally some of the branches Worldwide family.
Definitely. And whenever I come back, we'll have to catch some fish, right?
Yeah. And drink a good coffee.
That is for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And thank you for tuning into this podcast with Florin and I talking about redemptive business here in Romania. For more content like this, make sure you check out our podcast on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And if you'd like to understand a little bit more about the work that Florin is doing and other leaders that are a part of Branches, I want to encourage you to go to the Branches Worldwide website to look and find all of those materials. Again, thank you for being with us today, and we look forward to having you again next time.